Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to Games I Bought Recently, episode 32, part 3. I figured I'd get started with a game that recently was released for the Sega Dreamcast, and that is Gunlord. This is the limited edition, which comes with the soundtrack and the game itself. I'm sure some of you have seen reviews and gameplay online, such as Gamester did a review for this, and he did a comparison between the Neo Geo version and the Dreamcast version. I haven't had a chance to pop this in yet, but it's a really fast-paced, side-scrolling shooting game that, you know, looks like a fast-paced Contra, but only with some more free-roaming aspects where it's not always just on a straight path from point A to point B. It's supposed to be really challenging. It looks like a lot of fun. It throws in some shoot-'em-up elements in there too, so it's not all run and gun. And supposedly people are really liking this, so definitely glad to pick that up. For the PC Engine, there are some games here that I showed off in a mystery unboxing video a few weeks ago, but I have played some of them, and I figured I'd let you guys know. And I'll mention them one more time for you. First up is Rabio Lepus. This is a side-scrolling shooter where you play as this robot rabbit, and let me tell you, this is one hard game. I live-streamed this one night along with some other games, and this game was brutal. It was really hard. Definitely a fun game, but I'm not sure if it's one that I'm going to be revisiting time and time again. I got Psychosis for the TurboGrafx-16. This is another side-scrolling shooter. It's got some really interesting level designs and enemy designs, a lot of alien kind of monsters and such. You know, a lot of shooters have that kind of monster design, but this one really takes it to the next level. Final Soldier for the PC Engine HuCard. I just recently started getting into the Soldier series, and I have to say I'm really pleasantly surprised this is not an exception to that series. It's a lot of fun. Ballistics. This is also on the TurboGrafx-16. This came with some other games, so I didn't specifically pick this one out. Psycho Chaser, another HuCard game and another shooter. Haven't had a chance to try this one out yet. This was part of my mystery unboxing. This is a shooter for the PC Engine CD from Messiah, and that is El Dis. This is a cute-em-up, sort of a parody shooter, where you play as this little fishy, and the levels, it's not quite as over the top as, say, the Parodius series, but it's got that cute little charm to it. This one here I'm enjoying quite a bit, and that is the Spriggan, the first Spriggan for the Turbo PC Engine CD. And wow, what an amazing shooter this is. I picked this up a few months back, and I have to say I'm really impressed with the weapon system in this game. So many different weapon power-ups that you can pick up and combinations for your weapons. It's really unlike any shooter I've played before. Highly recommend this for anybody that's a fan of games like Musha or you know, the Robo-LS series. Definitely check out Spriggan. This was also in my mystery unboxing, and that is Kaze no Kiri Ninja Action for the PC Engine CD. This is known as being one of the more sought-after games for the system, and it's a side-scrolling action game that has a really... It's a very simple game in terms of the gameplay, but it's really in-depth because it's very challenging, and there's a lot of dodging and stuff that you have to do with the enemies. There's no branching paths, there's really no platforming to do. It's all just running, attacking, and dodging. So, Ninja Kiri. Kaze no Kiri, I should say. Dragon Spirit. This was also in a mystery unboxing of mine. Another shooter. I warned you guys, I'm really getting into my shooters lately. Superstar Soldier. This is quite an amazing game. It's one of the best shooters I've played in quite a long time. I actually had a review done for this, but that was one of the videos I lost when my hard drive crashed. The music in this is absolutely phenomenal. The challenge ramps up steadily over time, so the first few levels are pretty easy, but by the last 2 or 3 levels, especially the last level, it starts getting very, very challenging. It's the perfect entry-level shooter, so if any of you have a PC Engine or if you have a TurboGrafx, the US version is a lot more expensive though. Definitely give Superstar Soldier a try. It's also on the PSP in the PC Engine shooter collection. This game really took me by surprise, and I actually had a lot of fun playing this, and that is a game that probably not a lot of people know about, Mr. Heli. This is another shooter, but it's unlike any shooter you've probably played before. It's not, you know, strictly a horizontal or a vertical scrolling shooter. You actually have the ability to take different paths. So think of it as sort of a very loose Castlevania, sort of Metroid, dare I say, Metroidvania style shoot-'em-up game, where you play as this little cute helicopter, and you have to kill enemies, and you can actually find secrets, and you get, you know, you collect money and use that money to buy upgrades and weapons. It's a really fun game, really challenging. The bosses absolutely kill me in this game. I really struggled to get by. I think it was level 2 or 3 when I was live streaming this one night, but a lot of fun if you can find this. Highly recommend it. I also got Gradius for the PC Engine Hue card. And next, I got a stack of PS1 games here, which this is one of the deals I was talking about. This is one of those times where I went on eBay and I got really lucky and found a bunch of games that the seller was selling together as a lot. And I only paid just under $60 for everything I'm about to show you here. However, there were some games that I had doubles of, which I have since sold off to make my money back and make a profit. So it's like I got all these games for free, or it's like I got paid to take these games off the seller's hands. They obviously were not an experienced seller, because they don't normally sell games, but I got really lucky. And there's one game in there which I've really been after recently, so the fact that I got this game for the price I did, this game normally goes for about $50 complete, and that is Tomba 2. And the really strange thing is, even before I bought the game, even before this auction existed, I was able to get the strategy guide for $5. Not a bad deal. And the game itself is right here. So I got this as part of the lot, and I was super excited because I am a big Tomba fan, and I've been after the second game for probably a year. Every once in a while, maybe like once a month, but more frequently I've been checking more and more often. I would check for the game and see if I can get a good deal, because I didn't want to spend the $40, $50 that the game commands. So my patience really paid off, and I got a copy of the game. I'm a big fan of the first one. Anybody that's a fan of side-scrolling platformers, I can't speak for the second one yet, but the first one is an amazing game. It's very similar in graphics to the Klonoa series, where it uses 2D sprites on top of 3D backgrounds. So very happy to finally have that. And these are just some of the other games. Other games that I got that I have since sold off included games such as Breath of Fire 3, Legend of Legaia, Darkstone, a couple of RPGs. I got some doubles of games like Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Greatest Hits. Black Label and a Black Label of Legend of Dragoon. So, but to start off, I got a copy of Rayman for the PS1. I'd never owned that before. I also got Crash 2. Yes, I have never owned a copy of Crash 2, though I have rented it back in the day. This is a series that I played the demo for the first one, and I've never played the second, never played the full game, and the character from this game actually is rumored, because of a leak of character roster, to be in the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale game as a playable character. And that is the Medieval series. So I forget his name, Sir Daniel, it says on the back here. The skeleton guy is probably going to be a playable character in that game. So that's really interesting, considering this series, the last light of day it saw was like on the PSP many, many years ago. Myst, because Myst is on every system out there. I now have a Black Label copy of Legend of Dragoon, because I had a Greatest Hits, so now I have which bothered me because it was like the only RPG I owned that was Greatest Hits. So now I got Black Label. I also got a copy of Chocobo's Dungeon 2, which I'm excited to get to this one day because I was a big fan of Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon on the Wii, and this is very similar since it's from the same series. This was not part of the lot, but this is just a game that I picked up separately because it looked like it was a lot of fun and it was only a few dollars with shipping. And that's Future Cop LAPD. It's a third-person mech game that looked like it had some really smooth graphics, some good music, some good lighting effects. Looks like a good overall PlayStation 1 game, so I picked that up. Back to what was included in the lot: Gauntlet Legends, Activision Collection, and a Black Label copy of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which I don't mind replacing my Greatest Hits version with. So that was an excellent lot, which I was really excited to get. Moving on to an Xbox 360 game, Lollipop Chainsaw. I never went to go see the demos of this at PAX or anything like that before, so I went into this sort of with a fresh mind, not really knowing what to expect. And I have to say I was pleasantly surprised. It's a really over-the-top third-person action game from the creators of No More Heroes, and it's a Suda51 game, so that will tell you a lot right there. I still have not played Shadows of the Dams, but I'm looking forward to trying that out. But from what I hear, it's got a lot of the same kind of humor as that game. Really, really dirty language in this game, so do not play this around your kids. I'm talking words that you typically never hear in video games are in this game. The first boss kind of took me by surprise, and those of you that have played this will know exactly what I'm talking about. But you play as this cheerleader who basically, her high school is getting taken over by zombies. Her boyfriend gets eaten by a zombie, and to save him, she chops his head off, and she carries him around with her throughout the game. It's filled with comedy, it's filled with really over-the-top action, really quirky sense of style. It's really colorful, and it's unlike any game I've seen before in terms of its presentation. The only thing that I don't really care about with this game is The combat doesn't really flow so well for me. You know, don't go into this expecting the next Bayonetta of third-person action games. The combat, it feels really stiff. The combos don't flow well. They don't, you know, it's just the combat is the one thing that drags this game down for me. But don't let that deter you. Is it worth $50, $60? Not at all, because it is also a short game. But if you can find it for $10, $20, $30 maximum, I definitely recommend it. I also have a sealed copy, I have not gotten around to playing this yet, of Akai Katana. This is a new cave shooter exclusively on the Xbox 360. Of course it is also in the arcades, I believe, but of course we don't have that here in America. I know exactly what to expect with this. Cave shooters are definitely always challenging, and I'm looking forward to getting into this one eventually. Really surprised they released that as a physical game here and not a download game, considering what they did with Death Smiles on 360 recently. Got a complete copy of Castle of Shikigami 3. I've never played this series before, so considering this was only a few dollars, I picked it up. And same thing with this game, Ultimate Shooting Collection for the Wii. This is a compilation of 3 shooting games, one of which is Radio Allergy, Karos, and Chaos Field. So this game is not a common game, it's not the easiest game to find in the wild, but it's a pretty cheap game online. You can get it for like $10, so that's a steal for the 3 games you get. This one here, I could have a lot to say for this one, but I'm going to keep it kind of brief, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles. The US finally got this game after Japan, after Europe. You know, we were kind of late to the party, but I have to say it was worth the wait. This is one of the best RPGs that I have played this generation. It's filled with content. You know, the world in Xenoblade, it takes a little bit to open up. At first when I started playing the game, I was kind of like, oh, you know, this is pretty good. But once I got a few hours into this certain part in the game where it just opens up into, you know, it felt like an MMO RPG as a single-player game to me at this point. So many quests, such an open world. You know, you're free to go around and explore and find hidden treasure chests, and the characters are definitely pretty likable. It took some warming up to the British voice acting in this game. Yes, it does have British voice acting. The combat to me feels just like Final Fantasy XI, Final Fantasy XII, so I was right at home with that because those are some of my favorite battle systems. The graphics are absolutely beautiful. They outdid themselves with this. This is without a doubt probably one of the best, if not the best looking Wii game I have played. It's absolutely beautiful. The soundtrack, drop dead amazing. The music in this game is just one of the best soundtracks I've heard for an RPG. I have not finished it. I got about 25 hours, a little over 25 hours, I think like 27 hours into the game. It is a massive game, you know, 70 plus hours to finish this. I do plan on going back to this. I am not going to leave this one alone because, you know, just it's hard for me to commit to a huge RPG these days because other stuff comes out. So I got sidetracked with something. But, yeah, I mean, I have to recommend this to anybody that's a fan of RPGs. If you're not into action RPGs, give it a try anyway, because it's just that good. So, Xenoblade Chronicles, it's worth owning a Wii for, or buying a Wii for if you don't own one and you like RPGs. And lastly, for the PlayStation 2, I also got a copy of Raiden 3. And supposedly this is a really hard game. I'm a big fan of the Raiden, tomato, same thing, of the Raiden series, and I'm looking forward to giving this one a shot. So, there you go guys, that is the end of Games I Bought Recently, episode 32. And stay tuned because I am finally coming out with Games I Played Recently, episode 1. And if you're confused between Games I Bought Recently and Games I Played Recently, it will be explained in the video. And I'm really excited to finally be doing those videos, and it'll be all explained in the video, so don't worry. Games I Bought Recently will still be around. They're going to coexist with one another. So guys, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you all soon.